Yes, sir.
And let's start with the first one, which is actually a Japanese animation. Yes, Japanese anime. This anime is done really, really well. I've got some notes written up on here, and you won't say, so I'll just read it out.
You go ahead.
And then we'll start talking about how we feel about it. So, The Wolf Children. The Wolf Children is a 2012 fantasy drama anime by director Mamoru Hodasa, who is responsible for Dragon Ball Z movies, One Piece movie 5, Digimon movies, and most recently, the well-received Summer Wars movie, which I know people love. The movie was animated by Studio Ghibli and Madhouse. And the synopsis for the story is the story follows a 19-year-old college student named Hana and how she meets a mysterious young man who, in the beginning, is consistently sneaking into her college lectures, and his name is Okami. Through time, they grow close to each other, and soon enough, Okami reveals that he is actually a descendant of a wolf tribe, and he can change into a wolf. We'll talk about the specifics of a werewolf, but not exactly a werewolf, but we'll get into that in a moment. All right, unshaken by the revelation, Hana still continues their relationship, even though she finds out he's a man-wolf, and then she soon becomes pregnant, has children, and that's the story of the Wolf Children. The story is about her raising these two half-human, half-wolf children, and without going into too many spoilers, just her relationship with her children as time goes on. And, that's the brief synopsis, without going into too many spoilers. So first of all, you want to say, what did you think of the animation?
I thought it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really nice. I enjoyed it. Was especially when they went into the countryside, in a sense, because obviously this is based in two locations in a sense. So I really enjoyed it. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, to tell you the truth, but it was standardly drawn. They weren't drawn in any particular way, in a sense, or, to make it stand out from anything else. So I guess it was the norm, but it was still drawn pretty well. And when they did turn into the little wolf children and things like that, the way that they did that. Yeah, the transition was so
fluid.
So nice, so fluid. And there's bits where the little girl, and I've forgotten her name, I want to look it up. Is it Yuki? Yeah, I think it's Yuki. Yeah, she's like screaming at the mum, and when she screams, she kind of turns, her face turns from a little girl's face into a little wolf, a little she-wolf. And it's done really, really well. Colouring's really nice. I could feel there was a level of the city that you could feel and a level of the countryside. So I was really, really happy with it. I wouldn't say, like I said, that it was mind-blowing, something so out of the ordinary that, wow, it blew my mind. But it was standard, but clever in ways where it needed to be clever.
Yeah, I would agree. I noticed that it had a kind of freehand look to it. But it needed that for the transformations. Like you could see, it had a loose. It wasn't lazy, but you could see it was a very loose character design style. And like you said, I thought the backgrounds were amazing. Like there's a good example of this. There's a scene where she's running through the forest with her children as they're turning.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it's actually they mix a little bit of CG in there with the 2D for the background.
Is it when is it snowing?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And that scene is just really beautiful. I thought the animation was overall really beautiful. And they go to the countryside and really mesmerizing. Just makes me, again, I'm a 2D enthusiast and just making me appreciate 2D. And like I said, there was CG elements in there, but it was mostly 2D. All right, so I don't have a lot to say about the sound because we saw it in sub, which was fine. The character can't do much.
Well, but there must be something good about the sound that we keep on thinking that we saw the dub for some reason.
It was really
the anime that it just felt like it needed that dub. It's like one of the things, like when you watch a black and white movie and you think that you've seen it in colour.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that with this animation.
I think the dialogue was just done really well. The dialogue was really smooth. The character voices in Japanese were just perfect. I didn't have a problem with the sound. I'm just trying to think if the actual soundtrack stood out to me. I think overall, it was just really solid. But I don't remember thinking this is amazing. But I just remember thinking, I really like the sound. And there was a lot of dramatic moments in the movie. And I remember like scenes where they were running through the forest in the snow. The music was nice and mellow. From what I can remember, what I got on my notes at the time from watching it, I enjoyed the sound overall. But again, like you just said, I think I have to give it even more props because for some reason in my head, it felt like it was in native English to me for some reason.
Yeah. And the thing is, there is a lot of dialogue. It's not one of them movies where there's a lot of scenery and stuff and, you know, there was a lot of dialogue in the movie, so it's kind of weird to me. But yeah, just like you, I think, yeah.
I will be watching this again in dub.
Yeah, I will be too.
I can't wait for the dub. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to do really well. In
dub, it's going to do amazingly well.
Now, funny enough, it kind of, when I'm looking, we're going to talk about story in a minute. When I look in the story, it has somewhat of a Studio Ghibli feel to it in a way. Not too much, because Studio Ghibli goes a little bit more fantastical, but this was just a little bit more grounded. It didn't go off into too much magic or too much. Yeah. They didn't go too far. So my point is, I was wondering if this was a Ghibli movie, it would have been released in the cinema in America. Yeah. But because that's not going to happen, which is a shame. Because
it's a crying shame.
I think this would do really well in an American cinemas. In the Western, not just America, but in the Western cinema audiences. But from what I can tell, Funimation are going to just put it straight to Blu-ray, straight to DVD. It's still going to do well, but I think that you don't have to be a fan of anime to love this movie.
No, I don't. I think you're right about that. It's a shame. It is a shame because there is some Ghibli-ness to the movie. But I wanted to say something, but I'll leave it till a little bit later.
Well, let's talk about the story itself and let's do story and characters together because they're very intertwined anyway. The overall story, in retrospect, when you see the whole picture, because when you first start watching it, you're not sure where it's going to go, even though the whole thing with her getting pregnant with the children happens very fast. That's not a spoiler. It's called the Wolf Children.
Yeah. But to take truth at the beginning, the opening bit of the movie, actually the girl Yuki she's the one that opens it up and she's talking about the relationship. She's saying this movie's about the relationship between my mum and my dad. Right. So from the beginning, you kind of get to see
it's narrated backwards anyway.
Yeah. So you know that it's about her, and you know that. So you know it's about Yuki and that. So.
Well, that's a good point. For me, I think it's a really heartwarming story. You know, more or less about parenting and the struggles of parenting. Without going into too much spoilers, there's a big part of the story I can't spoil, to be honest with you. But it's a really heartwarming story. Overall, the characters are very good. They're very interesting. I don't want to go into spoilers because I would like to elaborate more on that. But some characters, there's a little bit of character development there. Especially for the main lady. The children...
Hannah, her name is.
Yeah, Hannah. Her children are very interesting. They're the most interesting characters through the end. It's just at the end, there was some things that happened I wasn't happy with Hannah herself. Especially there's a big climax at the end with her and her children. That was a bit silly. We might have go into spoilers a little bit about it.
It's really hard not to go into spoilers when it comes to this one actually, because you don't want to. It needs to be broken down a little bit. But
we're trying to recommend. We're trying to recommend this, so we can't. But what I will say is, let me just go. I'll go first overall and say, you know what? Was it a perfect movie? No, but it's a damn good movie, and the qualms I have with it are bordering on nitpicks. Bordering, because overall, I think it's solid. I think it's a good story. I think it's a good idea. There's some things in the story that are a little bit bittersweet for me. And there's an element in there, which I will talk about right now, that I found a bit silly. There's a little bit of a spoiler. It's the part where she's actually making love when they actually...
Why'd you have to say that? It makes me feel like, ugh. But yeah.
They actually, when they make love, when she makes love to the wolf man for the first time, when he admits to her, they look like they're having sex.
Let me tell you something, right? You're trying to make this sound all sweet, okay? Let me just do it in the way I want to do it, yeah?
All right.
There ain't no way. If a man is telling me he's a wolf man, I'm like, all right, that's fine. That means I can take you out for walks. maybe throw you a stick. We can go, play in the park.
Well, like Twilight.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? I can ride on your back.
Like Jacob.
Yeah, exactly. We can do all that. That's fine, yeah. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, there ain't no way them fangs and them claws are coming near my skin. What do you think I cream up my body for? I don't cream up my body to get scarred up by you. And the fact that basically, when they're having sex, when they're banging, or as Dawn wants to put it, making love, he turns into a wolf. What the hell? How is that romantic? How does that work?
I mean, because we don't get to see it graphically.
No, but who wants to see that graphically? Unless you want to turn it into a hentai, there's no way that could work and make it look beautiful.
Well, let me just clarify for the audience. It looks like...
I'm sorry, wolves, wouldn't they do it doggy style anyway?
It looks like they were making love when he was in his wolf form, people. That's what we're just...
Yes, they were, because he turned into the wolf and then he leans her back.
And they go into bed.
And then I'm like, thank God I ain't seen that, because that looks like some flipping carnage.
That was the point where I was like...
Why don't I just have sex with Blanco or something? Because that was just aggressive. It would just be aggressive. There's nothing beautiful. There'd be no babies coming out of that, man. There would just be hospital appointments and shit like that. The man's got claws, he's got fangs. And even there's a bit where they're like trying to kiss.
Well, if you want to get into it, maybe the bottom half didn't turn into a wolf.
Come off it, man. The bottom half is the half that needs to turn into the wolf. And the top half needs to stay where it's at.
You're disgusting. You are disgusting.
Well, only one section anyway. That's another...
Yeah, let's leave that to one side. So anyway, I think we've kind of given it a little short review. What do you want to... you got anything else to say?
Yeah.
Go on, what do you have to say?
I've got lots to say.
We got a lot of movies, so...
Yeah, I know. You kind of put me off and made me go into a whole nother thing, so now...
Did I?
Really?
Did I?
Yeah, you did. Because you started making love and all that. I thought you were going to get up and, And
then you were like a dog with a bone. You went off on one, didn't you?
Yeah, because we got making love and they tried to make love.
All right, go on.
Anyways, for me, I really, really liked it as a whole. I think if anybody that likes Spicy Wolf is gonna love this.
Spice and Wolf.
Yeah, I like to call it Spicy Wolf though.
I know, just so people know what you're talking about. The series Spice and Wolf, Beyonce loves that series, and there are similarities.
There are more than enough similarities to it, in a sense. And I think that anybody that likes that will like this. But what I will say, when you were talking about the Ghibli elements of it, and that there not being that sprinkle of magic or spirituality in a sense, I think there were bits where I yearned for that kind of element. And I think that's what it was missing. I think if it had a little bit, because the thing is that the whole point about having wolf children and all that kind of thing, it's mystical, right? So the thing is that that's where the mystical elements kind of stopped, and then it kind of went to real life in a sense. And I kind of wanted that mystical element. It needed a couple of sprinkles of that just to make it whole for me. But like you say, I'm not going to talk about anything else because it would be nitpicking, and it was really, really, really good. It was one of my favourites that I watched this year, most definitely, and I would definitely recommend it. The storyline was really, really good. The characters were good. The mother, Hannah, her character development was really good, and the children's character development, actually the storyline was very good, and the character development of the children and where that went was extremely interesting, and it made me think, in a sense, how things change when you grow, because you are seeing their life to a point, and that's really not a spoiler, because you're watching, when you see the beginning, you see that it's a woman that's talking, the daughter's grown. So, yeah, for me, it's one of my favourites, and I really liked it, and yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
Alright, so what would you rate the movie on the Planet Tower rating system?
I'd give it a first class.
I'd have to give it a high solid B. It's, when you were talking about it not having that Ghibli magic, it could have used that. It could have used it. I didn't really want for it, but if it had it, would have been better. I could agree with that. They could have went more into the Wolfman's clan and made it more mystical, but they didn't, and I don't have a problem with that. But again, might have made the movie better. For me, there's it's just not a first class for me. It's a really good movie though. I have to give it a solid B. Solid B, high solid B, but not quite first class for me.
Yeah, I definitely give it a first class because I feel like I said, the character development was really, really good. The animation was good. Like I said, the sprinkles of mysticalness or whatever was missing for me.
Yeah.
And if it was there, I may have given it, I don't know if I'd given it a Hall of Fame. I would have given it a high first class because I think if it was going to cinemas with that element, it would have done much better. But yeah, for me, first class.
Yeah, it's a good drama. It's a good drama.